Throughout the infinite stretches of the universe, those born with, or chosen to bear, a semblance of divinity are destined to become champions. These are people who are capable of traveling across extraplanar worlds, with the potential of one day becoming gods, which comes with some pretty cool perks like incomprehensible magics and occasional tax write-offs. Many of these champions end up being chosen by an organization in the homeworld, which is the literal center of the universe. This organization is called the Grand Archive. In an attempt to maintain interplanar order and to protect worlds' magical cores, coined world seeds, the Grand Archive sends out parties of often poorly adjusted to society young adults to various worlds throughout the cosmos. In the Dawn of Ashes and Fractured Crown sets, our chosen party is composed of Lorraine, a warrior who had her family and home ravaged by an overpowered, corrupt god. Rai, a mage who is a literal isekai protagonist obsessed with infinite power. And Xander, a pretty boy perfectionist assassin who likes flashbanging people. The party was to be sent to Cambria, a world of Arthurian legend cosplayers who are highly dedicated to the bit, where our heroes were to stop the imminent destruction of Cambria's world seed. Right when the group was standing on a pedestal labeled pedestal that sends people to other worlds, don't step, a young gremlin child, Sylvie, decided words are just a suggestion and hopped on with our party. Right as soon as she beamed a massive grin at the newly horrified Lorraine, the party was blipped away from the Grand Archive and shot through space. Separated while manifesting into this new land, each champion had to reacquaint themselves to the magics of Cambria due to the ley lines of the world being less magically rich than those of the homeworld. Sylvie came crashing down in the forests of Avalon, right next to a lake. The enchantress, Nimue, who owned the lake, pulled up with a giant white snake and golden sword. "Whoa," said Sylvie. Well, Nimue went on a lengthy yapping spree about how Cambria is currently facing mass turmoil and expositioning about some nameless mage trying to take possession of her magical sword Excalibur. Sylvie ignored her and instead played with a bunch of fluffy forest creatures. Amused, Nimue sends Sylvie off on a grand adventure with all of her new forest friends in order to grow stronger and help avert the disasters coming to Cambria. Elsewhere, Xander tracked down a band of assassins and got kidnapped. They interrogated him, thinking he was one of two previous otherworlders, a mage with immense talent and a blade for hire who were both causing havoc in the courts of Cambria. After realizing he was a dead end, they left Xander by himself, tied up. Because his kidnappers are pretty bad with tying knots, Xander broke free of his bindings and received a sudden invitation from one of his kidnappers to join the Korhazi, a highly skilled group of assassins, should he successfully pass their trials. Rai found himself in Varric, surrounded by a group of hooded figures trying to summon a demon and, naturally, used the confusion to his advantage and roleplayed as an almighty demonic figure. The Varukan cultists, fully accepting their new overlord, gave Rai access to all of their magical tomes and secrets. These cultists are pretty upset at the Aeson rulers over in Camelot, to the point they wanted to summon an evil demon and all. Here's Alan. Meanwhile in Camelot, things are already getting a bit messy without even needing a demon tearing everything apart. Chaos and dissent began to rise, with several villages having been pillaged. Whoa, who's that in the distance? Well, it's Lorraine, and she's set on an expedition to the capital in order to find out what's going on and put a stop to it. She developed a band of warriors while protecting villages from becoming battlegrounds. She was eventually summoned by Uther Pendragon, the current king and father to the young heir, Arthur. Uther's council was stuck in a debate on how to resolve everything. Some proposed using an iron fist to quell dissent. Others proposed inspiring their troops for morale. Then a councilman started an unskippable cutscene where he expositioned on the great and majestic spirit of Cambria, the majestic spirit. A familiar-looking white-haired mage wearing a lavender robe watched on with curiosity. Skip forward, and Uther chooses Lorraine as the one to go questing and summon the almighty majestic spirit. Yay! Uther also sends out Arthur on a side quest with Sir Galahad to find the Excalibur. Surely, this will not be important and come up later. Lorraine goes on a lengthy quest and actually does get chosen by the majestic spirit when it's Merlin, that white-haired mage from earlier, who has just decided that it'd be a pretty funny prank to take over Lorraine's mind and body. In the process, the majestic spirit is tainted and becomes evil, and starts doing evil things like listening to drift funk and not tipping the barista at the local coffee shop. Merlin goes wild in the body of Lorraine, using the Majestic Spirit's might to cause even more chaos. Tristan, the other champion that arrived with Merlin, has been hunting down Lorraine due to a hefty bounty that's been placed on her head. Not knowing that Merlin was effectively piloting a Lorraine meat mecha, Tristan went to attack the person who she thought was Lorraine, but isn't actually Lorraine, but instead Merlin and the controls of Lorraine. But with Lorraine still cognitively present that she's still the Lorraine responsible for this, even though if she's not the actual ruler. Anyways, while lunging at Lorraine/Merlin, Merlin used Lorraine's blade and cut off Tristan's arm, leaving her a leg and disembodied brother short of becoming an alchemist. Furious, Tristan leaves Cambria in an attempt to seek refuge away from Lorraine, vowing vengeance in the process. Chaos swells, and the Grand Archive party comes upon a gruesome scene with Lorraine having disemboweled Uther. Merlin stands atop this wake of destruction with a suspiciously Excalibur-shaped sword in hand. Merlin leaves Cambria, and the main party is alive, but traumatized. And with that, our champions are reunited and us awaiting the continuation from there. Why did Merlin chase after the Excalibur? And for what reason is she accruing power? Where do our Cambria 4 even go from here? Who the hell is Alan? We'll find out in the future. If you enjoyed this type of content, I hope that you will like and subscribe. It was a blast to make, and I cannot thank you enough for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. This is your buddy Rex, signing off. Later.